What day is it today? That's how, is it Tuesday? Happy Tuesday, everybody. On today's episode of Golden Days, first of all, we're going to have a doubleheader today. This is part one of two shows. We're going to be back at this at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to have Dylan Hunzinger. I think that's his name or his last name. Let me get that. Yeah. Dylan Hunzinger. He hosts a program covering the OKC Thunder. It's called Topic Thunder. In case you're wondering, why am I bringing a Thunder podcast host on the program? It's because the Warriors signed this guy named Lindy Waters. Or I think they traded for him, actually, technically. And they traded for Lindy Waters because, I don't know. We're going to find out. That's why I have Dylan on the program. So that's for part two later today. What today's program is going to entail is this. Mike Dunleavy Jr. recently said that trades are hard in the NBA. And the reason why the topic of trades is so important is because the Warriors are in a staring contest with Danny Ainge. All Danny Ainge wants is a buttload of picks because he is all in it for Cooper Flag. And the Warriors right now are in the middle of trying to accumulate enough assets to make Danny Ainge happy. The dude wants 4 first-round picks. The Warriors can offer 2 plus a pick swap. Moses Moody probably will not be enough to satisfy one of those 4 first-round picks. So the Warriors are basically halfway there. Andrew Wiggins is being shopped around. I don't know, Gary Payne II, Kevon Looney. Those are assets the Warriors are trying to flip for draft picks. But the truth of the matter is, it's not that hard to pull off trades. And the way this Warriors roster is currently constructed, if the Warriors don't make another deal, this team, unless the young pieces show us a meteoric rise this season in terms of skill set, development, overall play, the Warriors are going to do another year of blatant disservice to Stephen Curry and surround him with a team that is nowhere near good enough to compete for a title, let alone even a playoff spot. So a trade is needed. And there's going to be another move, I hope. Logic dictates it. Sound reasoning dictates it. And what I want to list to you today is why trades are not that hard. Why the soundbite of Mike Dunleavy Jr. saying trades are hard is ridiculous. I'm going to give you a lot of examples of that. We're also going to talk about the Warriors' new addition to the team. The Warriors have filled their 3 two-way spots, and they added this player who has been lighting it up in Summer League, Daeqwon Plowden. I'm going to give you a little rundown of him. We're going to talk about all that next. But again, the theme of this first part of 2 shows today is trades are not that difficult. The impetus is on you, Mike Dunleavy Jr., to make something happen, to give Stephen Curry at least a fighting shot, because what they have right now ain't it. And we'll talk about that and so much more next. Welcome to a Tuesday afternoon edition of the Golden Days.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! And things suck! Woo! Let's go!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got...
Oh, hello. I don't know what just happened there. Well, welcome back. Something seemed to have glitched. I hope you all can see me right now. I have no idea just what went on with my computer there. I hope my show open actually went through. Welcome to today's edition of the Golden Days. I apologize again for my open just crapping out there. But yeah, welcome to the program. How the hell is everyone doing out there? And I want to start off real fast God damn it. That threw me off a little bit there. My screen crapping out on me. I think I'm back. Okay, so we're live. We're up and running. And first things first, I want to give some love real fast to the official sponsor of Golden Days, courtesy of the Believe Network. That is the official network we're now a part of. And the official sponsor is Bet Online. They're your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season, from baseball, golf, soccer, right up to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, boxing. Don't forget tennis. Don't forget elections. You can gamble on that. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game is over, head on over to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet Online. The game starts here. Hello, everyone. You can follow me on Threads. You can follow me on Instagram at DogWild. That's the handle. I'm just so thrown off because my open, I'm gonna have to edit Bill O'Reilly out of that soon. It's been a month. And I want to first of all thank everyone who has shown support for this program. This program has, sorry to be redundant there, has been on the air, metaphorically speaking, because airwaves are rarely how broadcasts are transmitted now in a digital age. That's an analog reference, but nonetheless, you get the gist. We crossed in 3 weeks, not even 4, 3 weeks, 250,000 views. That's huge between the YouTube program, between the podcast. In 3 weeks. At the old program, it took me a year to reach 2 million. So we're ahead of that pace, man. And I want to thank everyone for that. That's massive. Thank you very, very much. And I posted the link for the chat. If anyone wants to come on today and join me, they can. It is an open invite. I welcome discourse, even for all the trolls out there. At the very beginning of the program in the chat, someone was talking some smack. You're not successful in this industry if you don't have haters out there. That's a true story. But what I want to add to that is, if you actually have the audacity to talk your shit, at least do it to me interpersonally. The link is right there. Come on the program. Don't be a cowardly keyboard warrior. Anyone can literally type on a screen and hide and run away and tuck in between mommy's legs, hoping that the person you're attacking doesn't come after you. Just click on the link. Come on the show. Actually show me you have a shred of intelligence if you want to have it back and forth. Otherwise, I'm genuinely flattered if you're hating on me using just your keyboard. I am, because it shows I'm actually in that head of yours. So the link is open, but it doesn't have to just be for the antagonists out there. It could also just be if you want to have a fun discussion, join the program. The doors are open right now. So let's do this here. Jeff, the creator, by the way, mentioning Ethan Thompson, and you bring him up because the Warriors made a decision today. Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted this out, and I'll share the screen real fast. And I also have to give Adrian Wojnarowski his due, because Woj is not just on Twitter. He's also on Threads. And I actually should highlight the Threads version of that post, but I'm doing a live show and it's too difficult at this point. But nonetheless, I'm going to share my screen real fast for the YouTube viewers, and I'll read out loud what Adrian wrote in a social media post. Free agent guard Daeqwon Plowden has agreed on a two-way contract with the Golden State Warriors. His agent, Drew Kelso of One Motive Sports, told ESPN Plowden has been one of the stories of Summer League, averaging 16.6 points on 54% shooting and 48% on threes. Now, the thing with the two-way deals is this. They're not guaranteed, okay? So who might be a two-way player now could very easily not be a two-way player 2 weeks from now. And so Pat Spencer's got one of those spots. The kid from Virginia, Beekman, has one of those spots. And he looks really good. At least he looked good in the California Classic games. I haven't seen him stick out much in the Summer League. But and side note, for anyone wondering where the hell is Gui Santos, he's playing for Brazil in the Olympics. So he's busy. Otherwise, we would be seeing him playing Summer League minutes. He has missed out there. I really wanted to see him in terms of what his development has led to at this point. But regardless, Pat Spencer's got one of the two-way spots. Beekman's got one of the two-way spots. And now this kid, Daeqwon Plowden, has the third one. And he's been lighting it up. He has been a completely obscure individual in the NBA until now. And what I mean by that is, first of all, if anyone can answer this weird question, I would be thankful, because I'm a curious son of a bitch. I like to get answers to things. And one thing I don't have an answer to is how Plowden played 5 years at Bowling Green, his it's who he's an alumni of. He played 5 full years there. Did rules change? Can college athletes play 5 years for the schools now? I used to think it was just a 4-year run of eligibility. But the reason why that bears relevance is because Plowden is 25 years old. He is not super young, but yet he's obscure. Like, hardly anyone's heard of this guy until now, thanks to his summer league play. And in case you're wondering, where did this guy come from? He's been in the G League the past 2 years. He was undrafted. Again, he played 5 years at Bowling Green State. Apparently you can play 5 years in college now, and those are 5 full seasons. It's not like he redshirted one of those 2 years. So yeah, did a rule change? So AC, maybe this is what it is. AC in the chat writing that they added a year for COVID, for the pandemic. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but my understanding is in college you can only play 4 years, and Plowden has 5 years of college experience. Anyways, that's the reason why he's so old, relatively speaking. Again, 25 years old. His birthday, if I have it here in front of me, I thought I did. Where is it? Daeqwon, he was born August 29th, 1998, which means he's going to turn 26 in about a month. So that's why he's old by his standards. But nonetheless, he's been lighting it up in the G League. He's been playing great ball, and you do have to give the Warriors a tip of the cap for rewarding that, right? I mean, it would have been weird to see him just balling like this and then go, thanks for nothing. So he got the third two-way spot. And as I mentioned a moment ago, from what Adrian Wojnarowski wrote, a huge reason for that, besides the 16.6 points per game on 54% shooting, is the fact that he's been stretching the floor, shooting 48% from three. So as of right now, he is filling that third two-way spot. But the bigger picture remains, what the hell are the Warriors going to do with the actual roster of players we're going to see play meaningful minutes? Because as good as Daeqwon Plowden has been in Summer League, you know the rule with two-way players, right? Unless their names are Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb, you're not going to see them out there. And sorry to bring that up. But anyway, so and what I really like to do, I need to get Kevin Dana on the show back. Although I don't even know if he would be super familiar with Plowden, just because Plowden was not a member of the Warriors G League team last year. I think he was a member of the Orlando Magic's G League team last year. I think. Don't quote me on that, just because there really is not a lot in terms of information regarding this kid. But again, great output so far. If you've been watching Summer League, besides the fact that Brandon Pajemski and Trace Jackson Davis are proving that they are developing and growing as individuals, they've been pulled from the Summer League roster simply because there's no point in them continuing to play. And if either one of them gets injured playing Summer League, that is such an awful look for the team, to parade two potentially vitally important players on your roster and to not have them available because they got injured playing in Summer League. That would have been a horrible look. So they're officially done with Summer League basketball. It'll open up the doors for players like Beekman, for players like Plowden, who is now a member of the two-way spot. Pat Spencer is going to get some more run. But again, the bigger issue here is, what are they going to do with the rest of the roster? Because right now, the way this roster is currently constructed, like, they're not going to win. The only way they're going to be successful is if we see a meteoric rise in year 4 for Kuminga, in year 2 for Pajemski, in year 2 for Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, we all know by now Moses Moody is simply not one of Steve Kerr's favorites. It would shock me if Moody's on the roster at the start of next season. And the truth of the matter is, if everything we've seen is true, if everything we've heard, if everything our own eyes have shown us from watching, It's that Kerr just does not respect or value Moses Moody.
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, I don't blame you for saying that, Moses. It's true. It totally sucks because some of us actually see the value in this player. So you're likely going to see Moses Moody move. That would be the player that I would expect to be traded when all's said and done, when the Warriors finally do something. I'm still fervently of the belief that Lauri Markkanen, as Damon Bruce enlightened me the other day, his first name is pronounced similar to Mike Lowry from Bad Boys. So it's Lauri Markkanen. I'm still confident that he's going to be a member of the Warriors. And look, if there's any concrete reason for the delay in this deal happening, it's because Mike Dunleavy Jr. is finding it very difficult to move Andrew Wiggins. That is the piece that they're trying to flip to get assets so that Danny Ainge can be satisfied with the number of draft picks they get back for Lowry. Danny Ainge more specifically wants 4 first-round picks, 5 if you count a pick swap. That's what he wants. And that's what the Warriors are working on right now. But if the Warriors do not pull a trade, if you see on day one this roster as currently constructed, yet another year of utter disservice to Stephen Curry, there is a very strong possibility Stephen Curry is only going to be playing 2 more years, and that's it. He might retire after the end of next season. And this is how you're gonna reward his service, what his single-handed accomplishment of turning a Warriors organization around from a laughingstock to a dynasty to a reputable place for individuals to play basketball. The Warriors were a joke of a franchise before Stephen Curry, and he has probably 2 years remaining in his playing career. If he doesn't sign a contract extension, that is a huge sign that these next 2 years might be it. And that's how you're gonna reward him with a roster that is patched up and put together like a bunch of Band-Aids and gauze. And you're going to get 35 wins out of this group. You're going to be too good to get Cooper Flag, but not good enough to even make the play-in. That's what this team is right now. So I am of the very firm belief that the Warriors and the Utah Jazz are going to make a deal. The Warriors, as currently constructed, have far too many wings and guards and small forwards. And if you do the math, there is just not enough minutes to get most of these guys any real playing time. But you're also not going to be helping Steph with a roster that is diminutive. The Hobbit train continues. So I really am confident that Lowry is going to be coming. And right now, it's just a matter of what the hell is Mike Dunleavy Jr. doing in terms of getting back assets for Andrew Wiggins and or Kevon Looney and or Gary Payton II. So see Antonio Green. And again, if you're going to be doing the all caps yelling, come on the show. The link is up there earlier. And if you want an explanation for this, for why this team, why I'm criticizing this team is currently constructed, who's their center? Who's playing the 4 and the 5 right now? The only people you have that bring size to this team are Draymond Green, who's 6'6" with shoes, Trace Jackson Davis, who I love, and Kevon Looney. And that's it. We haven't even seen Quentin Post play yet. We have no idea what we're getting with him. He's a rookie. Very strong possibility he's going to be playing a lot of minutes in the G League. So you think because the Warriors added a 6'3" DeAnthony Melton, a Kyle Anderson who's a 22% three-point shooter, Buddy Hield, who, I mean, he's known as being a shooter, but he shot 38.6% last year, could be a defensive liability, not much of a playmaker. That's the depth you're clamoring for? Yeah, Maximo, I agree with you. They need Jared Allen. They need size. Lauri Markkanen fulfills so many of the holes that this team has. Besides the size, he's also a stretch 5. So he gives you the spacing you want. So I actually tracked down because, again, Mike Dunleavy Jr. once upon a time. And we're going to be back live at 5 p.m. with Dylan Hunzinger of Topic Thunder and with BJ Matthews of the Pull Up Podcast. Him and I have been talking for like 6 months at least for getting him on the show. And and we're going to talk some Warriors. I'm going to get his perspective because he actually the main reason BJ even got on my radar in the first place is last summer, Steve Kerr, who doesn't do a lot of interviews if it doesn't involve either his buddy Tom Tolbert at KNBR or Warriors partnered media like 95.7 The Game and NBC Sports Bay Area. He doesn't do that many interviews outside of that realm, right? But last summer, Steve Kerr was on a podcast I'd never heard of before where BJ Matthews was hosting it. And that's how we first connected, because I reached out. I'm like, how the hell did you even get Kerr on your show? And it turns out that BJ ran into Kerr in San Diego during the offseason and just asked them. And Steve said yes, and that's how that happened. Anyways, BJ is going to come on the show. We're going to talk some hoops. But right now, I want to list to you every trade from the last 5 years that was so ridiculously one-sided that it makes me cringe when I hear Mike Dunleavy Jr. say trades are hard. Okay, that is it's trades. Look, don't treat making trades in the NBA like it's rocket science. Don't act like you're doing nuclear engineering with a trade. All right, you're literally on a phone call with the leader of the other team, and you're having a discussion about swapping players. And that's hard. I mean, I understand like they have their wants and needs and you have your wants and needs, and there's pressure from owners, and you're trying to protect your own job in the process. I mean, there's clearly variables. But to say that it's hard, that's asinine. In fact, why don't we hear the soundbite real fast of Mike Dunleavy Jr. when he made that comment? And I think trying to pull this video is what glitched my show at the very beginning. But here's Mike Dunleavy Jr. real fast talking about trades being, oh no, so difficult. Here, let's hear the quote that inspired today's show. Here is Mike Dunleavy Jr. real fast talking about trades.
Said enough. Like, there's a lot of good teams out there that know what they're doing, whereas in the past, it just seemed like you could pull a fast one on somebody, and there's different reasons for doing a trade. Now it's hard. Like, there's salary related trades, but how often do you see a trade that's like straight basketball for basketball? And so because of that, it's just not easy. But at the same time, we know here some good teams have been built based on getting an Andrew Wiggins in a trade, something like that. So got to keep pursuing those things, but recognizing they're not always easy.
And yeah, okay, they're not easy, but they're not. And this is why I decided to do some research, because Genji Gok in the chat, for example, is agreeing with Mike Dunleavy Jr., saying, I agree with Mike here. Trading is not easy. Everyone wants to rip you off. Well, then I'm going to list you 20 trades from the last 5 years where it's gonna prove your point moot, because and here's what I'm going to start with. All right, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this was back in 2018. They traded Jimmy Butler to the Philadelphia 76ers for Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jared Bayless, and a second-round pick. This was Jimmy Butler still in his 20s. This was still Jimmy Butler in his prime. And Philadelphia, who later completely screwed the pooch by opting to spend money on Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. But Philly got him in the first place. Let me repeat what they got him for again. For Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jared Bayless, and a second-round pick. The Toronto Raptors in 2019 got Kawhi Leonard for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a 2019 first-round pick that was top 20 protected. I'm going to continue on because, again, it is bullshit to sit here and tell me trades are hard. I will continue because I got a lot of these. What about the Warriors? And this is where Bob Myers, I will forever fight for him because there was ingenuity here. This is the standard that Mike Dunleavy Jr. has to meet if he wants to be respected and considered an elite general manager in the NBA. Bob Myers traded D'Angelo Russell, Jacob Evans III, and Amari Spellman. Two of those three players are nowhere to be found. And they got back Andrew Wiggins. They got back a 2021 first-round pick who turned into Jonathan Kuminga, and a 2021 second-round pick. I will continue. The Suns got Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith and a 2021 first-round pick. The Memphis Grizzlies got Desmond Bane for 2 second-round picks. The Denver Nuggets got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for Monte Morris and Will Barton. The Lakers got Rui Hachimura for 3 second-round picks and Kendrick Nunn. The Grizzlies got Marcus Smart for Tyus Jones, Mike Muscala, Danilo Gallinari, and Julian Phillips. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No. I apologize for that. That was, I don't know what was going on there. Let me start that over. The Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis in the Marcus Smart trade. It was a 3-team trade. The point is, the Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis, and they gave up Marcus Smart, and they then filled that hole with Drew Holiday, giving up nothing of importance in the process, except for 1 first-round pick. Sacramento last year got Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte is not something to write home about, but he is an asset that you could have used. The Warriors could have used him, a 3-point shooter who stands 6'8", 6'9". Sacramento got him for 2 second-round picks. The Cleveland Cavaliers last year got Max Strus from Miami for 2 second-round picks. The Pelicans this last offseason got DeJounte Murray, a potentially elite point guard who is large for his size. He stands 6'5". He can play defense. He can shoot, for 2 first-round picks and Larry Nance. The Toronto Raptors got Kelly Olynyk last year for 1 first-round pick and 2 players of virtually no value, and Otto Porter Jr., who retired soon after, and Kira Lewis Jr. The Dallas Mavericks last year got Daniel Gafford, a center who was pivotal in their drive to the NBA Finals. You know what they gave up for Daniel Gafford, a player that the Warriors absolutely need? They gave up Rashawn Holmes and 1 first-round pick. The Phoenix Suns got Royce O'Neal last year. Phenomenal piece. For 1 first-round pick. The same Buddy Hield that the Warriors just spent nearly $10 million a year on for a 3-year contract. Philly got him for 2 second-round picks and a couple scrubs. The Mavericks got PJ Washington, another pivotal piece for their finals run last year. You know what they gave up for him? 1 first-round pick, Grant Williams and Seth Curry. And they also got 2 second-round picks back in that deal. I'm getting tired of listing these. I even have a much longer. I have a lot more I could read off to you, but I think you get the point. Trades are not that hard. Life is hard. Putting a roof over your head is hard. Building a nuclear weapon is hard. Learning how to fly a craft is hard. Making an NBA trade, not hard. And the Warriors better do something. And I still do believe firmly, though, that Lauri Markkanen, I apologize, is going to be a member of the Warriors. And and a lot of this is all about getting more assets. The Warriors only have 2 first-round picks right now. But my point is, part of being a good GM is understanding negotiating, is having people skills, is understanding the layout of the NBA, understanding what other teams have and what they may want to give up. It's about reading the room. And when I say the room, I mean the other 29 teams and what you can finagle from all of them. And this is where Bob Myers, as a relationship individual, as someone who is a master communicator, who is a master a connector in terms of relationships, that's where this comes into play. It's why it's wildly beneficial. Oh, Damien, my brother. Thank you for the donation. And this will definitely get my attention. Need money, man, just like everyone else. Damien LaRoche writes, Danny Ainge can't afford not to trade Lauri Markkanen. 100% right. This is a huge variable in this negotiation that cannot be stated enough. Danny Ainge does not want Lauri Markkanen. He sees Markkanen as an asset to flip for more draft picks and an opportunity to tank this upcoming season for Cooper Flag. All right. When he traded Donovan Mitchell to the Cavaliers, and that was the trade that got Lauri Markkanen back, he also got, I think, 4 first-round picks in that same trade. He is all about stockpiling and preparing for what this Jazz team is going to look like 2-3 years from now. Showboy, what in the chat, you're going to have to elaborate on this because you wrote, Bob Myers made a lot of bad moves and drafted horribly, yet somehow constructed 4 championship teams. I don't know what the 3 lottery picks are, Blue. You can point a finger at him and Kerr, who also played a part. This is reported as fact in drafting James Wiseman. Fine. But who are the other 2 lottery picks that he quote unquote blew? Please enlighten me on that. So there you go, man. I don't, and again, 100% agree with you, Damien. Utah wants to move him. Danny Ainge just wants 2 more first-round picks. And Mike Dunleavy Jr., that's your job. Flip Andrew Wiggins, flip Kevon Looney, flip Gary Payton II, and get the assets to make Danny Ainge happy. That's your challenge. And look, if Lauri Markkanen is not available, we've already listed on this program all the other players you can get. Worst case scenario, get Vucevic from Chicago, a 7-footer who can stretch the floor. And if you're worried about his defense, do some goddamn coaching. Defense, as every former great player will tell you, is all about the team. If you watch the practice videos of Team USA, you hear Stephen Curry yelling it during the practices. String, string, string. That's the defensive philosophy of the Warriors. They play on a string. So one individual who is so at defense, despite standing 7 feet, teach him, coach him, do your goddamn job. Oh, dude, I'm all about and Damien, thank you again. BehindAllTheLies.com. Thank you for the donation. You are highlighted. Right. If you keep Kuminga and get Markkanen, how do you play both? They play different positions. That's way too easy. Ask me something follow-up. I'll do it, and you don't have to pay more. That's too easy. Kuminga is a natural wing player. Kuminga is not a natural power forward. All right. Kuminga should not be defending Anthony Davis. Kuminga should not be defending Rory Hachimura. I apologize to keep focusing on the Lakers. Kuminga should not be guarding PJ Washington. Kuminga should not be guarding Wemby. All right. Kuminga's a 3 if we're talking about positional basketball. Lauri Markkanen in the Warrior system is a 5. And that's how they play. Here's your starting lineup, hypothetically, with if this trade happens and you don't give a Kuminga. So you have Kuminga and Lauri Markkanen on the same team. You're starting 5. Steph. The second spot is completely up for grabs, whether that's Buddy Hield, whether that's Podziemski. I prefer Podziemski coming off the bench as your ball handler, but then again, you also have D'Anthony Melton. So maybe Podziemski's your starting 2. Kuminga, Draymond, Lauri Markkanen. That's a team that can play with anyone. And Lee Ving, who is saying Kuminga can't shoot threes well enough, give him time. 2 years ago, he was a 37, almost 38% three-point shooter. Practically the same as Buddy Hield last year. His three-point shooting last season did take a dip, but for someone who's a career 34, almost 35% three-point shooter, I'm not overly concerned with that. And secondly, I don't overly concern myself with the three-point shot when the individual, in this case being Kuminga, can do everything else. You don't just need three-point shooting to space a floor. If you can attack, if you can penetrate, if you can force defenses to collapse on you, that's also spacing the floor. And he's a fine passer. I'm not worried about that angle of his game. Now, East Oakland writes, Lowry is not a defensive player either. True, but he's 7 feet, which matters in basketball. Size does make a massively huge difference. So even if you're not a great defensive player, just the size element alone makes up for some of that. B, he's a phenomenal offensive player. So whatever he may give up on certain possessions defensively, he's making up for that with points. He also averages nearly 9 rebounds a game, a defensive statistic. So he is crashing the glass. And you're right. Defensively, he can be a liability, but that's where hopefully a Draymond can help. Trace, you do still have Trace Jackson Davis. Lowry doesn't have to play all his minutes at the 5. He can also play the 4. And because you did pay the $2, I'll totally follow up and answer this. No, I don't see through rosy-colored glasses on Kuminga. My entire observation on, well, there's 2 things with Kuminga. One is I'm not sitting here promising he's going to be the next great thing. My entire passion for Kuminga, if you want to call it that, is I just want him to get a real run. I don't want Kuminga in year 3, which was this past season, to be 7th on the Warriors in minutes played. I want to see him play real minutes so we can all properly evaluate him. Because Steve Kerr's already proven when it comes to personnel, he can't be trusted. He makes far too many mistakes in terms of personnel decisions. There's a reason why he was an utter failure as the GM of the Phoenix Suns. And this is an individual in Steve Kerr who last year thought Corey Joseph deserved playing over Moses Moody. How did that work out? Didn't work out great. This is an individual who 2 years ago, in driving Bob Myers out of here, thought playing Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb over Kuminga and Moody, giving them development and minutes. That's what Myers envisioned, and this is what led to the split. But Kerr thought playing these two-way guys was the right call. Didn't work out. I'm not sitting here telling you or promising you Kuminga is going to be the next great thing. What I am telling you is, as a fact, some mock drafts had Kuminga in one of the deepest drafts in NBA history going number 1 for very good reason. From a talent perspective, in terms of, let's say, a scouting report, he has no flaws. The only one statistically is the three-point shooting, which has not been awful, by the way. Okay, Kyle Anderson, 22.9% from deep. That's awful. D'Anthony Melton was, I got to look it up again, but his three-point shooting was subpar as well. Kuminga's shooting from deep is not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. He's the second youngest player on this team. I want to see how he performs when he's given the opportunity to not have a leash around his goddamn neck, constantly worrying about a coach that's going to pull him out. So the rosy-colored glasses with Kuminga, no, but he, as a project, in terms of like what he could be, I don't think it's rosy to think that he could be something great. Do you never not ask yourself why he's considered to be one of the only players on this roster with trade value? Do you ever stop and ask yourself why for all the Kuminga detractors out there? It's because the kid can actually play. Never mind the fact that he was third on the team last year in scoring. Never mind the fact that he was third in field goal percentage, fourth in plus minus, yet he was seventh in player minutes. I just want to see the kid play. And if in a full-time role where he's playing 30 plus minutes a game in year 4, if he's not delivering, I will criticize him. Trust me on that. I totally agree, Genji Gok. He just needs to be set free. He just needs to actually play. And John Holmes, great point, that he had 33 20-plus point scoring games last year. And behind all the lies.com, and again, thank you for the donation, writing that you agree with what I'm saying, but you don't think Kuminga's worth missing out on Lowry. Let me ask you this, man. We don't know what we're going to get yet with Kuminga, right? I think we could all agree on that. It's an uncertainty at this point. And my whole issue is, why is it still an uncertainty? We should have figured out by last year what we're getting with him. That's what that year 2 of Kuminga, where him rotting on the bench, that's what cost this team, is a lack of proper evaluation and analysis. But we don't know what we're getting with Kuminga. He could be a superstar. He could also just be a role player. We don't know yet. But we do know what we're getting with Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen. Here's what we're getting with Lowry. A guy who, until 2 years ago, was considered a disappointment. A guy who has not proven he can be durable. He played 68 games, I think, his rookie year. And then since then, he's never played more than either 66 or 62. Someone wants to confirm that. So he hasn't proven he can be durable. And the last 2 years, the Utah Jazz, with him as the number one focus, haven't even been a play-in team. So I understand Stephen Curry's that good, but let's say you give up the farm for Lauri Markkanen. Let's say you give up Kuminga, Pods, and all that. And now all of a sudden you have a team with Steph, with Lowry, with Draymond, and who else, right? What happens if Steph gets injured? He's 36 next year. I mean, that's a very real possibility. What happens if Draymond gets injured? He's 35 next year. That's a real possibility. If you're giving up all of your young assets and one of those things happens, you're cooked. You're done. You have nothing to look forward to, and you have nothing to play with right now except a version of the Utah Jazz that is now on the Golden State Warriors. That is why I am firmly against giving everything up for him. He is not Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is a fantastic second or third piece on a contending team, not the first. And conquered them adds in the chat. Lowry couldn't handle the pressure in Chicago. And I don't want to harp on that too much. You're right. But he was young. And just like with every young player, I don't want to judge immediately. We got to see how they do. Damage 1212 in the chat. And this is not a report I've seen. If this is a true report, sign me up. But you're writing, no, I have not discussed it yet because I haven't heard it. I mean, please provide your source. But you're saying that there are discussions regarding Wiggins for Cam Johnson. Dude, let's have a party if that's real. Are you kidding me? And Zero, thank you for the love. Oh, JP Sports Bar and Grill is asking, what do you think the Warriors should give up to get Lowry? I don't think that's even a talking point. I am confident that the Warriors and the Jazz already have a deal in place. It's just the Warriors don't have what Utah wants, which is draft picks. That is Utah's entire goal here. Stockpiling draft picks. And the Warriors only have 2. Utah wants 4. And so what the Warriors are trying to do right now is flip Wiggins, flip GP2, who's utterly redundant on this roster, given the other pieces you have, flip Kevon Looney possibly, who has an expiring $8 million deal. What they're trying to do is flip these assets, maybe Moody as well, to get additional first-round picks that they can then send to Utah. And by the way, Damage mentioning that Larry Kruger's talking about it. John's home, you mentioned Damon Bruce talking about it. Larry and I, every Wednesday at 1 p.m., it's now official. Him and I are going to be doing a show together. Had a chance to sneak in that shameless plug real fast. Let me see if there's anything. Oh yeah, and please hit the like button. I'm gonna be back in literally an hour and 10 minutes because we're gonna break down who the hell Lindy Waters is. I'm bringing on Dylan Hunzinger. He's the host of Topic Thunder, one of the coolest names for a podcast ever. And so we're gonna break down Lindy Waters, and then at 5:20, I'm gonna swap out Dylan for BJ Matthews of the Pull Up Podcast. I think the dude played college ball. He knows his hoops. We're gonna be talking some basketball. So. This is just part 1 of 2. We're going to be back at this very soon. And yeah, please subscribe. Please, pretty please, with the cherry on top. Hit the like button and spit on that thing. Anything else in the chat before we got to go? I really want to know what the source is on that Cam Johnson for Wiggins discussion. Me want to know more about that, because if that is a real thing, sign me up. Otherwise, we're back at this. Otherwise, we're back at this in a little over an hour. 2-parter today, doubleheader. We'll be back at this very soon. And thank you everyone for the love as always. Again, if you disagree with me, come on the show. I post these links when I do it solo. It makes for good content. Oh, Damage here saying this. Some guy from Bleacher Report. Nick Fensky, good to see you. You got to come on the show at some point. You're long overdue. Damien, love you back, brother. Right back at you. Otherwise, yeah, we're back at this very soon. So see you in a little over an hour for part 2. Be well, folks. Mike Lowry. It's Lowry. It's not Lori, in case you're unfamiliar. And that's why I keep doing that joke. Bye-bye, everyone. See you tonight.